Okay, here we go. So here's something. A commentary track for a video with less than 200 views. um, okay, the only reason I'm doing it for this video specifically is that this video just has a specially long creative process attached to it. And originally I had a whole thing called like developing the internet and me, but then audio problems happened, so I never got to actually make that something, and I was planning to like upload it the same day as the internet and me was going to be a whole thing. Didn't get the chance to do that, but now I'm just going to make this and talk about it for like the length of the video, probably a bit longer, because right now it's just going to be like a blank screen maybe. Yeah, hopefully this doesn't come off as like too pretentious, but I feel like there's some stuff I could mention, and I'm scared for how well I'm going to be able to just talk over myself for 22 minutes, along with trying to talk about something for the entire 22 minutes and not just have a lot of blank space. But let's see. But with that in mind, 3, 2, 1, go. You know, with that Discord sound effect, I ended up tricking myself at one point because the video ended up playing in like a separate tab, and then I was like, oh. And then, yeah. So there actually was, at the very beginning, if you've seen the video, you know that there's, like, multiple different sections where I talk in front of a laptop, and there's originally a much longer section at that very beginning trying to explain the whole, like, bit about, screen share, and I'm going to tell you when to pause. But then I realized that could just be like implied a lot, and I didn't want to make it too long. So I was like, sure, 10 seconds, that's enough. So yeah, here's me, the cold open. Yeah, okay, let's wait for the actual thing to happen. Yeah, okay, so I ended up just doing it now. Funny thing about this shot, this was actually, I don't know if you noticed, but I used my headphones as the microphone for this time, and I dealt with the whole like syncing thing, which honestly wasn't the most necessary, but I think that like added to the illusion. And when I wanted to make this like scene longer, I even included a bit of me like putting my headphones in and then going like, hello, hi. But then I realized, like, I just wanted to get it quickly done. So I did that. Yeah, and then I had like obviously a script, and I did include purposefully some like stutters, but then I realized it would be better because I knew what I wanted to say, and I was just like, okay, let me just like stutter at some points to make it seem like, human. And here we go. The day after I filmed all of the like footage, because filming the actual footage took over 2 days, and I'm going to tell you when it switched from day 1 to day 2. But on day 3, I guess, I was just like, you know what? I could maybe film a lot of clouds. And I think that was like October 20-something-th. And, yeah, I just like got that cloud idea last minute. Oh, here, okay. So, something, I don't know if I explained it yet, or like in the character of the video, but yeah, oh wait, no, I haven't. Like, at the last minute, I was really concerned with how I didn't have many graphics or whatever. Like, I didn't really have much that was, like, visually engaging besides just, like, my face and stuff. So I ended up adding that, like, recording of me scrolling down a twit longer, and the twit longer is actually this section of the script. Like, if you pause it and look at it, it's just, like, the words that I'm speaking. Yeah, and then I just included Shane Dawson, because, like, why not? Yeah, this part was really fun, and I was really, so, I think it's, quirky of me, like, it's one of those things where I didn't intend to do this, but I think it actually works really well, because this section works as a sort of, like, yeah, it works as a prologue, even if I don't call it one, because I use this to sort of, like, emotionally engage you with myself, being like, hey, I had a rough time making this, so be empathetic towards me, because this took a lot of effort. It does ruin me. Yeah. I do make a lot of references about, like, video essays, or, like, the audience watching this, and I thought that would, like, be bad, but I don't think that many people noticed it. And yeah, this shot, I didn't initially like how close up this shot was, but I needed to make it even closer, because on my dresser in the bottom left corner there was a comb in a few shots, and then I noticed the comb and removed it, but then by that point, there was already some of the shots with it. So I just had to zoom it in to the point where, like, you couldn't notice the comb change. I just realized I probably shouldn't swear. I'm gonna cut myself out. I don't know. Yeah, okay. I really like this part, because it's like, look at all of these things of me, but I never even tell you what the channel name is. I think that's, like, funny of me. And if you know me, then you can tell, like, what MP stands for. But I mean, all of the videos are private anyway, so it wouldn't mean anything regardless, but yeah, and I also really like this shot. Out of all of the talking shots, for, like, the entire video, I think this one's my favorite. It's, like, really wide, which is nice, and the lighting and just, like, the shadow that it makes is really cool. Apologies if there's, like, camera fan noise throughout all of this. I'll, like, try to do, like, a noise reduction thing in Audacity, but what are you gonna do? Plush videos. Yeah, Mario, Luigi. I remember I went through, like, my filmography, quote unquote, and I saw that title, and we all, like, I went through my filmography with some friends, and I saw that title, and we all just, like, fucking bursted out laughing, because none of us had any idea what that meant. Yeah, and those, like, that footage of plush videos, I spent so much time, like, filming that, and then I realized it, like, wasn't necessary at all. Like, those sort of shots were, like, me scrolling through the Twitter feed, or whatever, an online comedy and you. Anyways. Yeah, I don't know if Joshua has, like, seen this video, because I feel like he might, like, know that I exist. And I'm, like, sort of concerned about how he would react to just, like, seeing him randomly mentioned, because he's the only person that I directly mentioned, besides, like, in like, a few moments when there's, like, all of the Twitter usernames. But still. So, Joshua, if you're watching this, hey. I did this a lot, yeah, like, just using, like, the YouTube studio, because I was like, oh, that's easy, instead of just having to, like, download all of the thumbnails and stuff. Oh, remember that you can't trust anyone, and that everyone's probably a pedophile. Yeah. Originally, I contemplated linking, like, a code with the full actual video, but then I watched it, and I was like, yeah, I do not want people seeing this. I do not want people seeing this for a very long time. Yeah, the only actual talking points that I, like, prepared for this come in, like, a lot later. So, now we just wait. I think it's really funny how you can barely see my eyes. Like, I guess you can. But, like, the lighting just makes it more difficult. Yeah. Oh, here it is. And there we go. Yeah, so, everyone, besides 2 specific people, got 3 whole frames. 1 person got 7, 1 person got 6. Yeah. And, oh boy, here we go with this. And it's funny, some of those usernames are already outdated, and it's only been, like, a week. But that's why I always put, as of blank, or, like, usernames is subject to change. Because, like, y'all change your usernames way too much. Oh, and here's the switch to day 2. And I feel like that's obvious just because my hair is, like, a lot weirder now. I don't really know what's going on with my hair right now. And there's that, like, weird strand on the, like, right of my face, which I just hate. But there's not much to do about that. And yeah, so, like, section 3 and 4, like, I still refer to them as numbers, even if I don't use the numbers in the actual video. These have, like, no visual stimulation whatsoever. It's just me talking. And it's like, I talk about that in the second, like, laptop bit, but it's like, I can't prove anything. This is, like, a incredibly personal anecdote, so I don't know what to, like, put there. Yeah, and then here's a reference to either cancelled, or at least there's about to be either cancelled. Actually, okay, it's gonna be a bit moment, so I guess we can just leave for that. A bit of a long moment. When I actually filmed some of this on day one, but I ended up deleting most of it because I wanted to start from fresh, and I got like especially angry, and I realized that that wouldn't be the best idea. Because yeah, like I'm reading from a script, but I just like get into it, you know, and I think that's part of it. Cancelled. There we go. But yeah, like these monologues, just like they go off, and like my videos become more and more monologue centric because it's like, if I'm going to have a cut, it's going to be a J cut. But like, why not? Like, just get the least cuts as possible. Okay, this is important. So this monologue I actually had in the works from July, I don't know, mid-July, and there's like a notebook that I use a lot, which I showed in like the developing the internet and me thing, which I won't be able to show here because I'm just using this. But yeah, July 16th, this monologue, like the one group of people thing, and it's like, yeah, when I was writing this for the actual video, it was really easy because I just had like almost a full section just like immediately available to me, and I didn't have to like work on it. Well, I did add some of it because I added the like, and when they tell people that I am like their perception of me, preventing them from realizing that it's the opposite, because like that's sort of a big part of it too, and also like the more excuses. And like my original idea was to say that I could worm out of the concept of being a bad person, but as you might be able to notice, I'm terrible with pronouncing my O's and L's. So worm, W-O-O-M, O-O-M, and I cannot say the word word, W-O-O-L-D, I just can't. Might be an asshole? Yeah, the funny thing about this video, I just like start swearing casually, which I think is funny. I don't say the fuck word though. Maybe I'll do it here. It doesn't matter. I don't feel like censoring. It's just instinct. In front of a camera. And yeah, here's the fun depersonalization. Like, this isn't even me fucking exaggerating. I need to stop swearing. It's just the like stuttering. It's like a stutter word with like and like and stuff. True, yeah. And then here we go. So what I really liked about the Discord gimmick is that it allowed me to like organically put in content warnings, because I felt obligated to put a content warning here. Because, you know, like, it gets rough. Yeah, it gets rough, and although I could have just put like content warning for blah 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 for this moment, I was like, you know what? We're in a Discord call. I'll just like send it in a Discord. And there's actually like a server I have to just like send things to myself. So I renamed it to General. And then that link at the top is actually the link to the script, because I just wanted something to like fill in the rest of the frame. So I use that. And there's lightning. I got lightning on that cloud shot, which I thought was really good. And yeah, I just decided to stand. I think standing might look better. I like this shot too, but I can't help but think it's like very slightly askew burrs. It's like just slightly off, but but besides that, it's nice. Yeah. Yeah, you can always see, I have like one source of light, and you can always see it in the like reflection of the glasses, but I try to not have it be like in overhead, because like my microphone has like this sort of thing on the top of it which allows it to like screw in a microphone, but you can also screw in like the light with the attachment I have. So which I use in like the first two sections, I think, but then that puts the rectangle reflection directly at the eye, which makes it look bad. So now it's just in the corner, which is like good enough. Yeah, like words too, words and pixels, those are like some of the main themes, I guess. There's a train going off, I wonder if you can hear that. You can definitely hear my computer fan though, sorry about that. And here's the fun part. Yeah, so the way that I dealt, or like I coped with the idea of not having any visual stimulation is that I like started zooming in, and you can see that I zoomed in, and I feel like that fits, 'cause it fit like the emotional state, and I actually did that in session 3 as well. Not as drastically, but I zoomed in, and something you might not have noticed is that with the background music, I ended up distorting it. Like, I just, like, bass boosted it, or whatever, and I slowly had it fade from the normal to the distorted throughout that entire monologue. And, yeah, I think that, like, helps just, like, accentuate the uh-oh-ness of it all. And, yeah, 6th grade. I think it's really funny, because the people who were involved in this, there's, like, a very high probability that they've seen it. And I think, like, the reason I was completely vague about all of this is because I don't want to have some, like, poetic justice where it's like, they get cancelled or whatever. But I guess it is sort of poetic justice, because they're just gonna feel uncomfortable. Because it's like, yeah, you sort of, like, traumatized me, but you're still, like, my friend. We're chill. Yeah, something else related to, like, sex. Being in, like, communities that were incredibly open with, like, sexuality and stuff. Because, like, yeah, being online made me realize, like, people are more than just cisgender and heterosexual. I ended up thinking I was asexual. Like, no, idiot, you're in 6th grade. Of course you're not feeling anything. You're, like, 10. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I just have those, like, the, like, asterisk moments, because I was like, yeah, I'll correct a few things. And yep, here I go, backwards. And originally, I had a different Song of Astros, but it was, like, sort of upbeat, so I was like, oh god, that's probably a bad idea. I don't remember which one it was, but I ended up changing it, and I realized that it has, like, those sort of, like, swooshes. That's always just what I call it. But I can use those swooshes as, like, the sort of title card for the next thing. And yeah, it becomes a form of imprisonment. That was a good line for me. And the line about to come up, all they can give you is words, and that's what got you here in the first place. I think that hits. I, like, improv that. I improv, like, a third of everything. No, maybe a fourth. It's not that big of a deal. But if you remember in, like, online comedy, when I talk about, like, and TikTok and YouTube, where you need to at least have, like, blah blah blah, that was improv. Oh wait, okay, I missed it. But the as of now, I spent more time, like, trying to stop someone from killing themselves than I spent the driver's seat of a car. A, that's true, and B, that's another one of the quotes that I've had, like, in the works, or just in the noggin for a long time, because I was like, god, that is, like, terrifying, but it's also, like, just like, oh god. And originally I had it at the beginning, but I thought it would be more impactful at the end, so I, like, reformatted some things. And here we are, and this is sort of like a visual reference, I guess, to the video I made in April called, like, We Are Not Real People Beta. Because it's, that's sort of, like, proof that I've had, this video idea at least since April, because, like, yeah, I've had this in the works for a while, and that beta video in April was, like, me trying to put some thoughts out. And originally, yeah, I was going to have one of these, like, sections in the video called, like, We Are Not Real People or something like that, but I just realized that title was sort of, like, cringe. And I also, I've learned a lot more about, like, derealization and stuff like that, and, like, how people have issues with that, and I didn't want to, like, screw people up like that, because it's like, and I feel like I might have, like, sort of done that, like, boiling it all down to pixels, but it doesn't seem that bad, I think. Like, yeah, I just don't want to make people, too uncomfortable, and, like, if there's the possibility of people being uncomfortable, then, like, yeah, content warning. Yeah. Have you noticed that my shirts are coordinated? I coordinated my shirts. Because, like, the shirt that I wore in Becoming Warped was, like, all of these lines, like, going over each other. And, like, get it? It's, like, warped lines. And then I used the striped shirt in section 3, because that's also where I sat next to the, whiteboard, which is the same, like, main shot for online comedy. Yeah, and, like, I think just all of the different locations and shirts, like, accentuate the fact that, like, it's mini compilation, or, like, compilation of video essays. Yeah. And this part, I really like this part. yeah, so that's me at 4 years old, but then it's all of this. But I really like how I just say 2021. I feel like that was genius of me. And I use like the uncropped and like ungraded thing too, and it's like a lot more blue, and it's like 16 by 9. Yeah, 16 by 9. Ew. But alas, I cannot film raw in 2 by 1, and I have to edit all that. And I also make everything less blue, because I learned how to do that. And blue, the white balance does not look great. With the after show coming up, it was actually a lot longer, but I realized like with the like fan art credits, and that's all. And then I leave the after show. Yeah, I had like a lot to talk about, but I realized it was gonna get to like 23 minutes, and I just like hate 23 is not a good number. I wouldn't say I hate it, but I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna cut a lot of it out. And one of the things is that like YouTube analytics is definitely one of the more like negative changes. Here's like the closest up I've ever gotten, and it's like uncomfortable. Anyways, but yeah, like I saw that like for online comedy, people only stayed like 3 minutes before the viewer attention just like immediately dropped, and only like 6% of the audience stayed until the after show, or like until the end of the video, which is like incredibly sad. And like I know that some people go like at the beginning of videos go I've noticed that a lot of people who watch my videos unsubscribe. Like, shut up. Who cares? You're just wasting time. I'm not gonna do that. And then yeah, one of the other things was that I mentioned my Ko-Fi, but then I was like, I could just make that an editor's note. I don't need to waste that time. So if this video was a downer, yeah. And then there's all of the music. Thank you, Astro. Once again, it has not felt like 20 minutes. Time flies by when you're talking about yourself. I really like being enabled to talk about my process. Okay, a fun fact. I fade out every like text. Like every time there's like text, or like sometimes the videos, I time it with my breath. Because I feel like my breath is still like very apparent. So every time I breathe in, I use that to like fade in or fade out text. And also in the corner, in Online Comedy and You, I say written and aided by Moraden, like who could have guessed or something like that. And here I said, what a surprise. Because I think that's funny. That's a cute little meme to like talk about, because it's like duh. And yeah. Yeah, and like in Online Comedy, you might have noticed that in like one of the sections I say the internet's a bad place to live in, but I'm going to elaborate more in a future video. And I do that a lot. Like I just include those references for like future stuff, because like in the original Online Comedy, I make a reference to like being cancelled, and then the next video was either cancelled. Yeah. So I say, as of October 24th, 2020, if you can read that sticky note, username subject to change, because people like to change the usernames. And some of these people are like deactivated now, which is depressing. Thank you, Crow. That's it. That's the video. And wow, yeah, it has not felt like 20 minutes. It's definitely, yeah, it's like 23 and a half minutes on the Audacity recording, because I talked to it a bit earlier. That's the video. And yeah, do you notice that I like fade to red at the end of everything? That doesn't really mean anything. I just use that as sort of like marker for myself, like, yep, that's it. And that's the red that I use. I don't even know if this is like going to be a successful thing, but if anyone has stuck around to this point, thank you for listening. I was surprised that I was able to like think of stuff to talk about for that long too. I'm just gonna include some like blank space in case I need to like cut it to like be a certain minute, because people are gonna see it like, oh, it's not 22 minutes, that's weird. Whatever. Okay. I'm gonna stop this like audio recording at 24 minutes and 15 seconds. 30 seconds, I mean, it passed 15. Okay. Thank you everyone for watching. See you maybe in November. Okay, but we're gonna pass 30. We're just safe to the minute. I do have a video idea that I'm like sort of working on, but I'm still figuring out how to correctly like format it. So I don't know if I'm going to have one video in November and like continue the monthly upload streak, if I'm going to have 2 videos in December. But I have 2 video ideas for the rest of the year. And January is going to be something special, because you know what happens in January, right? I'm not going to elaborate on that. I'm simply going to wait until 25 minutes. Thank you one more time. See you whenever I see you next. Goodbye.